What's good? Welcome to First String Podcast. On today's episode of First String Podcast, we have the one and only Lou Holder and Lake Lewis Jr. Today, we'll talk about the differences in Commanders Camp with Lou Holder. We'll first day of pads. We'll discuss that with Lake Lewis Jr. We will go around the NFL. MLB's deadline dropped off, and was Sean Payton wrong for what he said about Coach Nagy? We got a lot of topics to discuss. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all ready to go? Let's get into it. Let's go.
Yeah.
First String Podcast. Yeah. True Danny. Dre on the beat. You know. Yeah. What's your favorite squad? Tell me who you going with. First String Podcast. Yeah, we keep it lit. We got the latest updates. We don't pump fake. Like, comment, share. We don't care. Feel free to hate. We got great guests. Join us. You should chime in. Trudini on the intro for the time being. Lady A, representing Washington. Pick Washington, everything Washington. Aunt Mo coming out of Dallas, you know the business. Said, them Georgia Bulldogs ain't quitting. Yeah, if you ain't watching sports, you ain't living. About to get my mattress Mac on, about to bet a million. Let's talk about it. We all grown and cool, we can talk about it. Before we hit the news, we gon' talk about it. Oh, you wanna bet? Let's pop a bottle bow. Yeah.
Welcome back to First String Podcast. Listen, we got a lot to discuss, but first things first, do not forget to like and subscribe to First String Podcast. Give us that good thumbs up, hit the bell to enable alerts for new content just like this. All right, today is the last episode for season 2, which means we're going into season 3. And we keep doing this because y'all keep watching. So let's get everybody in here real fast. Then listen, y'all know I usually come in with all kinds of heroics doing the intros, but I'm gonna tell y'all some facts. My man said that I'm bringing in. We've been friends for a very long time, and good times, bad times, it don't matter. Say's there for me. He my right hand man. He do a lot behind the scenes y'all don't know about. But I want to say thank you, bro. Let's get him in here. What's up, Say? How are you?
What's going on? Come on, D. Hey.
Hey. I had to go with the shades for a reason. I'm gonna tell you here in a minute, man.
I like the shades, man. They're pretty nice.
Hey, listen, this for a reason. All right, now.
Sometimes the sun got to shine on it. And from time to time, player, it is what it is.
Sometimes it got to do what it do. All right, now, this next person joined, in season 2, and it for Ant, it took a little bit because Ant plays the heel, and he plays his role very well. But Ant does so many things. He's so creative. He's thoughtful, and he took First String Podcast to a whole different level. And we love everything that he does. Let's get Ant Mo in here, man. And thank you for riding out with us, man. Ant, how are you, man? Oh, hold on. That's me. I double clicked it. My bad. God, why can't I get him in?
All right,
bro,
you playing too much.
There you go.
No, my bad.
You playing too much.
No, my bad, bro. But for real, man, thank you for everything that you do.
The Wild Wild West.
Hey.
I do not play the heel, by the way. I just don't like Washington. That's it.
He plays the heel.
I love your fans. You know, Lou's a great guy, but the organization, maybe you guys will turn a new leaf over now that you got new ownership.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. All right, now listen. Now HR, Lady A. Y'all saw this lady was out this weekend, shaking hands, kissing babies. She do so much for us. We really appreciate everything that she does. She brings so much to the podcast that you guys have no idea. She keeps all of us in line. You know, when we get to cutting up, she's the first one to bring us back on track. And she just keeps us focused, and she she's just a ray of sunshine. Let's bring Lady A in here. How are you, Lady A?
I'm doing well, but
What in the
And
finesse?
she's in a mansion.
Is that a piano?
Rich,
Is that a
the
baby
rich get
drum?
No.
richer.
so y'all not gonna say nothing about Pick being all Hollywood, but y'all gonna talk about me.
Man,
Listen.
you can't miss the piano. Man, you
We
can't miss that
expect
piano,
this from-
man.
We expect this from Pick. You know what I'm saying?
First, listen. I just put shades on. My background still look real common.
This is it's virtual.
No, it's not
It's-
virtual. We
It
know where
is
you are.
virtual.
Can you walk over there and play us a little concerto?
She's moving on
So-
up. Listen, hey, let's bring in our first guest. All right, now, our first guest, Lou Holder, is literally a mentor to me, and he's a person that we could call whenever we need an ear. He gives great advice. He gives back to us constantly of his time, and we can't say thank you enough. So it's perfect to have him on our final episode of season 2 and going into season 3 of First String Podcast. Let's bring in Lou Holder. How are you?
Hey,
Lou.
that is awesome. That open was awesome. Hearing your introductions are awesome. So proud of you all. This is great. First String Podcast is just stepping up, man. I
Listen,
love it.
yo, y'all know I do this for my dad, and without these people, I probably would have stopped doing it. But thank you all for doing what y'all do. That's why I had to go shades for a minute. I'm dead serious. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for being here with me. Everybody in the chat as well, man. Everybody in the chat. So let's see what's going on in the chat, because we got a ton of people in the chat right now. Drew, I bet you Bruce is the first one in here.
Drew
He
B.
said second in the building.
He was the second in the
Brother
building. That
Bruce
means
beat
Bruce was here.
his thing.
Bruce beat him here, of course. Bruce Glass is in the building, of course, right? And he said good evening to everyone as well as Drew. Major League Baseball trade deadline. Bruce is in our chat. I don't know how he gets in there, but he's in there somehow. Don's in the building. Don's in the building. We'll have Don on Saturday. He'll give us his question of the month, which Lou has to answer. I believe Lou already knows the question anyway. John is here. John sent me and Ant a picture. So John's in full uniform. He has his First String Podcast shirt on. He has his headphones in. He's watching. He's at work. He has his coffee. He's all ready. Coach Hackett, not Nagy. You right. Coach Hackett, you right. Sean Payton, the Joyce running them. Oh man, so y'all are already on it. I disagree, Ant. He's disagreeing with Ant. You are a heel. We'll get there.
He's my heel. And he's never made a good point against me, might I add.
He's never. Oh, we got Corey.
No.
We got Alex in the building. Alex is in the building. I see you, Bruce. I see what you said. HTT, left hand up.
Yeah.
Corey's in the building, and Corey said, "Why does Pick have on Dave Chappelle's?" Oh, no, I'm not playing Rick James. That's definitely not Suitland that she's
Yeah.
in, Lady A. That's
I
definitely.
mean, I
not
keep
Suitland.
trying to tell you guys, I don't live in Suitland, never have. So.
She's in undisclosed location that has a mansion. Ashburn. She's in Ashburn right now. Oh man, so many guys, and y'all, Charlie Murphy, Lady A, President of Suitland. You guys are all over it right now. Hey, listen, I can't keep up. Ant, you got the chat for us, man. Lou, how are you, sir?
I'm good. It's just great to see all these people that are climbing in and chiming in, man. It just shows the growth of the show, man. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for your time, and let's make the most of your time here. So I understand you were out at Commander's Camp on Saturday with the other 900. Lady A gave us a proper head count. She counted every person there individually. She did, and she said it was 10,421 people exactly.
Is that what I said?
That was the number she gave us. She counted each and every person and told her to stand still. She counted one baby twice.
Right, Sid.
Yeah,
That's the only way you're gonna do that.
Right. So what was the feel out there Saturday, Lou?
I mean, it was really, really different. I mean, a year ago, although trying to think how many were open to the public that a lot of people came to, but just the energy. I mean, it started from July 20th, and it is just, I think the term that a lot of people are using, which is true, it's like a sleeping giant has just woken up. And that's what this fan base has been, just asleep for numerous reasons, and it's just like a live fan base again. It's going to be a tough season. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of other professional football teams that they got to play. So, but it's the cloud that was over this franchise for the longest is just not there. So the energy, the rebirth, the renewing, that's what I felt out there. That's what everybody feels out there. Just a renewed sense of passion, a renewed sense of, what this franchise used to be. I was talking to Mark Mosley after the practice, and he said he hasn't seen the alumni treated this well, or he hasn't seen sites like this since when he was in training camp up in Carlisle. And he was just telling us stories about how the fan base that, then it was just phenomenal. And he said it looked a lot like that. So when Mark Mosley said something like that, that just kind of puts it all in perspective.
First, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time, Mark Mosley. And for Mark to be back at the park is outstanding. I understand Art would have been there, but he had some things happening. He couldn't get there when they took over ownership of everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Daryl Green is another name that I've heard is back around the facility. So
I've seen a lot of alumni. Mike Sellers. I've seen so many people that from recent back in the day to way back in the day, all alumni that they're bringing out, and these people are just on board with the newness of what's going on, and rightly so. I mean, this is a very, very proud franchise. I still think, it's one of the crown jewels. It was once one of the crown jewels of the NFL. It's lost a little bit of its luster trying to get it back, but I mean, the division that is the NFC East. Historically, with all the Lombardi trophies that has been in that division, it is the best division in football. Historically, with all the appearances, I mean, every team in the division has had multiple appearances in the Super Bowl. So it is one of those things that the league wanted to get that right, and you could felt that the league wanted to do something about it to bring back Washington to its rightful place as being one of the crown jewels of the NFL. And, it's just good to see that there's a energy of what could happen or what could transpire with the new ownership group. So that's the exciting part of it.
That's what I was just about to ask too, was I thought about it. I'm like, well, they won a Super Bowl then. They won a Super Bowl then. I'm like, what division where all four teams have touched that trophy within the past 20 whatever years? I don't think that's as easily precedented as, you could actually realize. So that's actually a pretty good accomplishment, like you said, historically.
Yeah.
But you don't think also, Lou, that there's I heard you say it'll be tough. I'm like, what aspect of it? Because there's newfound energy, there's newfound hope. You got a new quarterback, you got new offensive coordinator, you got new ownership. You already had the makings of a great defense. That receiving core, of course, we got to see what those cornerbacks are going to do and what that offensive line is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like, especially in a league where two or three of those teams don't make it in, then from the year before and vice versa, it seems like, I don't know if it's some adjectives you could throw in there, but tough may be one of the few things that I can say, unless there's some injuries that happen, you guys have a great chance of making a lot of noise in that division.
Yeah, and you said it spot on. I mean, injuries are a big part of football. And you know, in when you're in pads and training camp and everybody's excited. I mean, it's you know, you haven't really hit anybody in the mouth yet. But
Today they did.
Yeah.
Injuries do happen. Injuries do
Yeah.
happen, and they happen a lot in the NFL. So it's not going to be an easy play. This quarterback situation is still unsettled. You know, Sam Howell has only played 1 or 2 NFL games. So I mean, he's picking up the playbook. Jacoby Brissett was brought in for a reason. We'll see what happens. You know, they do have the makings. Because again, going into the season, and I told you all this before, going into the season, they're the only thing that really needed to be retooled was, you know, an offensive line and that quarterback. I don't think that any other position group on that field really needed that much of a tinkering because they were all producing. And so you go out and a defense that was top 10 in almost every category except turnovers, address that. I mean, Quan Martin is going to be a star. Y'all listen to me. Listen to me when I say Quan Martin is going to end up being a star. Emmanuel Forbes is going to he's going to do his thing, but watch out for Quan Martin, especially when you get in the mid and late into the season where an injury could happen. He can play every position back there, right? And then the tight end group is probably the most excited of all the position groups that Eric Bieniemy is here because you know what he does with tight ends. You know what Andy Reid does with tight ends. So Logan and Cole, all them, they're going to be used heavily. So I just think the man, I said this to Lady A out there, and I say this to everybody: let EB be free. If you let EB be free, it's going to be imaginative. Scott Turner did not have the imagination that Eric Bieniemy, you know, is going to be trying to do or will succeed in doing in his first stint away from Andy Reid. You know he's going to be trying to prove himself.
Right. Well, let me respond on something you said here about the quarterback position.
Thank you.
Do you really think they'll press Jacoby Brissett into the starting role over a quarterback they drafted in the first round? They make him sit 2 years instead of 1.
Who? Nobody got drafted in the first round.
Who got drafted in the first round?
He didn't get drafted in the first round, but the guy who should have got more playing time last year than he did this year.
I mean, Sam Howell is going to get every opportunity to start and be the quarterback for the Washington Commanders. But even Ron Rivera said he'll be QB1 until he's no longer QB1. He said that in the offseason, right? It's the NFL. And said, to be quite honest, when Deshaun Watson came back last year, Jacoby Brissett was playing better in Cleveland than he was. I mean, the man can play football. I mean, so it's not far-fetched to think that Jacoby Brissett will be playing this year. So you just don't know. That's how unsettled the quarterback situation is right now. You just don't know. You're hoping for the best, but you just don't know. You just really don't know when Arizona comes in and the bright lights start hitting and Eric Bieniemy has a very, very short fuse. You don't know what's going to happen. That's what I mean. We've seen enough football to know that, hey, look, that's the one position that you know has got to be right. And if it ain't right, after everything that's been going on with, learning the system and everything like that, I could see a change. I don't want there to be a change. I want Sam Howell to be able to compete. I want Sam Howell to succeed. I think we all do. I think he's earned it.
Hold on, Lou. I remember when Alex Smith, before he broke his leg, Alex Smith was putting up like pedestrian numbers, but they were like 6-3. I think he was throwing for like maybe 160 something, maybe 1 touchdown, no turnovers, right? And we were 6-3. Could that work for Sam? Like just doing enough, being a game manager, like getting the ball out of your hand. And I mean, is that enough for him to maintain the quarterback position, QB1 position, and as long as we keep getting wins and we don't have like a 5 turnover day.
Yeah, I mean, again, everything is set up for Sam Howell to succeed, right? You talk about the weapons that are there and Eric Bieniemy and how he uses people, that's set up. And this defense, I think, which is going to be phenomenal. There's no weaknesses for me that I see that can't make them an elite defense.
Well, Lou, what about the linebackers?
To give them back the ball. I mean, the way the front four and the way they use exotic. I mean, the linebacker, they've devalued the linebacker position. It's not as strong as it was when LeVar Arrington and Lamar Marshall and Jeremiah Trotter and London Fletcher. It's not that type of defense. It's not that type of defense where the linebackers. I mean, obviously, we really hope that Jamin Davis steps up and other parts of that linebacking core step up. But to be quite honest, it's the front and that back that has not complemented the front since Sean Taylor was here. Right. I mean, Sean Taylor, he had all those people that I just named, Martin and Forbes and Benjamin St-Juste and Defoe. All that was in one person.
Yeah.
All that was in one person. And he masked a lot in that Greg Williams defense. It hasn't been that with all those people there meshing together for another year and bringing in those 2 rookies. It hasn't been that complementary in the back to the front in a long, long time. And I think that because of that defense is going to turn that ball over or give Sam Howell and Eric Bieniemy many more opportunities to succeed. And I think you're right. Your only job as Sam Howell is to manage the car and not drive it off the road.
Lady A.
I mean, I completely agree. One thing that surprised people, and I'm not sure why it was surprising, at training camp was Emmanuel Forbes getting an interception. That wasn't a surprise. We knew he was going to do it. It was a good pass, but you can't keep the ball from him. So I agree there. But my question to you, Lou, is we talked a little bit about, because I let everyone else talk, we talked a little bit about the vibe, the feeling, the energy that's in the air. And, I know that the players have definitely commented, but in your opinion, do you see that transferring onto the field? Do you see them getting a little more hyped up than they were before? Or as the crowd roars a little louder, do you see that difference in them?
Absolutely. I see difference in every part of the organization, Lady A. I mean, you could see that from employees to the usual people that we see out at the park, the security staff. I mean, there is just an excitement because you don't have to answer questions about ownership and latest scandals and things of that nature. You can actually talk about football and actually talk about stuff that's pertaining to a proud franchise. So it's not just the fans, it's the whole organization. I think that you see excitement with everybody. And rightfully so. Now let's be honest. It's a honeymoon period, and sooner this team is going to be the honeymoon is going to be over, and production needs to happen. But I'm one after 20 some odd years of covering the cloud. I'm one is like, yo, let's enjoy the honeymoon period for a bit. I mean, these fans, this fan base, and this organization deserves to smile a little bit. Dallas and Philadelphia and the New York Giants, they'll be here soon enough. But as far as just a practice where coaches are yelling and, yelling at players isn't a new concept. We've all seen coaches yell at players. We just haven't seen it here, at least in public. Not with Scott Turner, not with Kyle Shanahan. I mean, we didn't see it like that. I mean, Eric Bieniemy's coming in and telling people to get off the field. I mean, accountability is big. And as every person in here, whoever team that they're rooting for knows that when you don't see that your team's being accountable for something, it ticks you off. And I think that these players want to be held accountable. They want to do better. The coaching staff wants to do better. I think everybody is tired of not making the playoffs and tired of being the butt of people's jokes. So I think, to answer your question again, lady, I think it's everybody. Everybody. The vibe is just infectious out there.
Okay, Lou, we got 2 questions real fast. First, we got the question of the month for you from Don. We got to ask you the question. And I'm gonna amend it, Don. Okay, so if there are 2 people that are not in the Hall of Fame and Hall of Fame eligible that you could put in right now, who would they be?
Joe Jacoby and Brian Mitchell.
Joe Jacoby and Brian Mitchell. Got it. And why?
I mean, it's obvious for me. I think, first of all, I'll start with Joe Jacoby. I think he's for the seniors, I think he's made like the semifinalists or what have you.
Right.
That whole offensive line is so underrepresented in the Hall of Fame. I mean,
Only one hog is in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's just that I can't a line that was that dominant with 3 different quarterbacks. I don't care about strike years or anything like that. That dominant with 3 different quarterbacks. I mean, they were opening up holes that all of us could have run through. You know, I mean, it's just the fact that it's the representation for that offensive line. And Jake was one of those people, if you interview all those the defensive guys at that time, they'll say he was the toughest one to get by or to play against on that line. So I think a lot of people are hoping that Jake gets in soon. And then Brian Mitchell, I mean, it's not that I'm biased and he's a friend of mine. I mean, when you leave the game and you are at the top of, that's the same foolishness that went on with Art Monk for the longest time. You know, I mean, if it's called offense, defense, and special teams, how are you not rewarding special teams? I mean, Brian Mitchell changed the game in some points. I mean, he changed field positions. He made things happen. And you can't discount that just because you don't touch the ball all the time. I mean, Brian Mitchell deserves it. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It's not like, it's like a sentimental thing. No, the man deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Got you. And then the second question is here from John from Garage Gym Life. It says, do you think that Jamin Davis will serve jail time?
Jail time?
Yeah.
I think that it's already in that decision is being made already. So
jail time.
The judge has already thrown out the plea deal.
Yeah, she's the. We're going to talk about this story here in a little bit.
I can cover it if you want me to.
True. So Nikki Javala reported yesterday that Jamin Davis mispracticed because he was actually in Loudoun County Court for reckless endangerment while speeding, going 114 miles at 1 p.m. in Loudoun County on what was the road?
It was Loudoun County Parkway. He was going 114 in the 45.
In a 45.
Good
All right, at
night.
1 p.m. At 1 p.m. Apparently he has the car that he has. He's about that life for real. Whoa. He's about that life for real when it comes to speeding. He loves NASCAR, and apparently he tries to do it in Loudoun County. So they had a plea deal where he was going to serve 8 days in jail, and with good behavior would have been like 4 days. So it would have been like over a weekend. Well, the judge threw that out and said, no, we take speeding very seriously here. So he goes back to court on Thursday, and we will find out his fate. And then you still got to think the league is going to have something to say about this as well.
Mm-hmm.
This speeding thing is really getting out of hand. We got kids at the University of Georgia doing this.
They all
you hit it nervous.
we got kids at the University of Georgia doing this. We just had a kid. I forgot what team he plays for. He told the cop he was speeding because his dog was sick. Don't forget what happened to Ruggs out in Vegas. He killed his girlfriend, fiance, the Shazer Everett, who killed his fiance. right? And Jamin Davis, this is his second offense. The last time I think it was over 90, and they brought it down to 89. So
No, yeah, it was 89 and a 65.
89 and a 65, right? So this is not new. So that's why they're asking,
Wow.
is Jamin Davis?
Wow. That's man, that's disappointing to hear. I'm just gonna talk on the macro. That this is a player that is still, when Jack Del Rio called him out in the first year, that he's expecting more from him. You just want better decision making from your players, especially. Just remember all the stuff that Sean Taylor went through when he was here in Loudoun County. They don't play around. Out there in Virginia, so it just seems to me that that's just some bad choices made there. So, but I can't answer the question about jail time because stranger things have happened in the NFL.
They have.
Well, I mean, it looks like
stranger things have happened in the NFL.
They have.
Sure. But it looks like they found him guilty and sentenced him to 30 days. So we're waiting to hear about that.
He's waiting
and
for
a fine,
his appeal.
license suspended, all that stuff was done.
He appealed it for a jury trial.
Okay, so y'all are already on it. Lou, want to say thank you for joining us. Lou Holder, as cool as the other side of the pillow. You know why I said that, Lou. You know why I said that.
No, I thank you guys. Every time I have a chance to come on, it just makes me smile because you all are like family. I did see Lady A out there, and she gave me a big hug, and it's just seeing Ant and Said and you Toothpick, it's just amazing, and I really, really appreciate it. And it's it's going to be a fun season because again, I think that Dallas Cowboys fans, New York Giants fans, Philadelphia Eagles fans, I think they all want the whole division to be, hitting on all cylinders.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a healthy respect. I think it's a healthy competition. And again, like Ant was saying, if you go back, even to, when the Eagles were in there against the Raiders, the Eagles have been in the Super Bowl multiple times. The whole division has been in the Super Bowl multiple times. And the amount of Lombardis, was it up to 11 now? It might be, it's 11, 12. The division still
11. Yeah.
11 is 11. Yeah. It still is, the NFC East is the NFC beast. When a franchise that is mired in that kind of stuff for that long sells for $6.5 billion. It's not just a franchise of the football team. It's like one of those blue bloods. It's one of those teams. And Joe Jackson Gibbs and all those people, they made it that way. But it's, whatever the name is going to be, whatever the name is, it's the Washington franchise that this league wanted to get right. And I think that and they have talent everywhere. They had 5 guys go to the Pro Bowl. So it's just going to be fun to see how this all plays out and how the matchups in the NFC East are going to look now with a rejuvenated fan base that's not going to allow a whole bunch of other stuff going on in their building, even though it needs to be moved and people are talking about it. At least now, Josh Harris and company is going to make it that it's going to be a home field advantage once again.
Thank you. Yes, sir. We look forward to it, and we will have you back again, Lou. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Lou.
All right.
That was the one and only Lou Holder. Listen, I got to say, we are 2 days away from DJ Woody and 357 dropping their new Commanders joint, and they are in the building right now with us. So, hey, shouts out to them, and thank you for dropping past. Our next guest is here. He's ready. We got the one and only Lake Lewis Jr. ready to go with us. Lake, how are you, sir?
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Hey, we are feeling phenomenal. We just had Lou on. Today is our last episode in season 2 for us. We're going into season 3 on Thursday. So, Woody said it's tomorrow. It drops tomorrow. I thought it was the 3rd, but he's saying it's the 2nd. So, hey, you guys be on the lookout for the new drop from Woody and 357. the new Commander song that they have coming out. Man, I hope you're ready. I hope you guys are ready. I heard
Yes,
the video.
command time.
Yeah, I heard the videos fly. My best friend Ron is in there, so I'm all about that. Lake, they had pads on today. Were you out there? What did you see?
Yeah, they had pads on and they were getting after it. It started off kind of iffy for the offensive line. They were really struggling to contain the first team defensive line. But as the practice progressed, they started to perform better. There was a lot of first team offensive line going up against the second team defensive line. And I think that was done intentionally so that they could get some real reps in, because let's face it, the defensive front line, Washington, their starting line is just so disruptive with Deron Payne and John Allen in the middle. And then, of course, Montez Sweat and Chase Young coming around the edges. I mean, and then they have some younger guys out there, too, that are just really, causing havoc, wreaking havoc. So they kind of mixed it up. And I think as the practice went on, you saw the offensive line start to run block better, start to pass block better. So maybe they are getting better going up against that stout defensive front. I mean, they're not going to go up against anything that is, hands down better. Of course, the Eagles have a great line. But, can you just flat out say that they're just flat out better than Washington? I don't think you can. So they're going to have their work cut out for them every practice, and hopefully it makes them better.
So there's this report of an undrafted free agent offensive lineman flattening. Yes, just flattening Big Phil Mathis. Now I gotta put a pause on this one right here. So Phil Mathis hurt himself last year with a knee injury. I don't know if he's wearing a brace or not. I don't know if he's fully back. But can you just talk about that for us for a second?
Yeah, it happened right in front of me a couple times. Phidarian Mathis is he's back. He feels good. We talked to him after practice today. He said he just wants to, make a name for himself and pick up where he had left off before he got hurt. And that was he was turning some heads. Well, this kid Brooks is 6'6", 315 pounds, undrafted out of Mississippi State. And I'm telling you, he is making a name for himself in this camp. And today, when they were doing one-on-one drills, I mean, it was almost like you had the simulation of three offensive linemen, but the one defensive lineman is going to come towards you. I mean, he put Phidarian in the dirt twice, and they said, let's run it back, and he did it again. And I can't tell you the explicits that were said out of Brooks' mouth, but basically to the tone of "get off me."
Okay. So somebody on the offensive line has a pair, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and these are the type of things you want to see. You want to see an undrafted guy have that kind of tenacity. And for me, I don't care if you drafted in the first round or if you were drafted in the seventh round or if you weren't drafted. I want my offensive linemen to not be the nicest guys in the building. I kind of want them to be nasty. And this guy has that streak in him. I mean, he's trash talking, he's confident in himself, and he's turning some heads. I mean, today wasn't just the first day of this. I mean, he's been one of those guys. And I think the team's taking a look at him. And you're making noise when the starting defensive linemen are like, bring that to me, talk that to me. So he clearly has awakened people to see what he can do. And I think it wouldn't surprise me to see him get some reps somewhere along the line with the first team, just to see maybe what he can do at guard. Let's see what he can do.
Okay, say it. Get in there.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he already answered mine. I mean, he jumped. He must have knew it. He must have seen it written across my forehead. He jumped right in there. Offensive line struggle early. Had to go against the second defense. It don't make a difference who you got a quarterback. If that offensive line is still leaking like it was last year, people out there getting two-step because it happened in Atlanta. I just can't say Washington as well. Because people in Atlanta got two-step. Boom, boom, on top of the quarterback. But like you said, as they got better, I mean, as they got more reps, they got better. Now, during that time, was Howell, was he throwing two-step drops, three-step drops? Or was it was quick?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both, actually. Okay. What I may say to go a little further, the one thing that concerned me was the offensive line had so much success against the second unit. Now I'm starting to wonder, is the second unit on the defensive line what I thought? So it's a little bit of everything. You know, maybe you get certain backups, you know, playing with some starters, a sprinkle of a mixture on the defensive line, and that's why it looks so good all the time with that depth. But when it was just straight second unit defensive line against first team offensive line, I think fans should exhale and know that the first team offensive line had their way with them. So that's a good sign. But now we need to see them transfer that to the first team defensive line. And then once you see that, then we know that they're starting to learn and starting to pick up. But I think Eric Bieniemy is looking at what these guys' strengths are on the offensive line, you know, and he's working with it, you know, but because he wasn't going to let them not be able to get any kind of work in by getting destroyed the whole practice by the first team defense of line. But then, you know, you started to see them run the ball on the first team defense, you know, so it was just, I think you start to see good things and you start to see some things that maybe, you know, could be alarming if it's not fixed.
And
well, first of all, y'all think that's something? Trevon Diggs invited Dak to those hands today.
what? For real?
Yes. Yeah. He said box. Then he said some expletives to Dak when he was walking off. So yeah, I was like, wait, do they really not like each other? It was like on that level. But you know, man that made his money, he probably trying to prove something. But they were talking about Sadiq and Paul being in a battle. Yeah. Is that still something that's ongoing? Is somebody kind of took more reps? How's that looking so far?
Well, I think Paul had a really good practice today. I really do. I mean, when they were in the one-on-one drills, he actually was locking up guys. I mean, it was really impressive, actually. So if you ask me today who's the starting left guard, I'm probably going to say Paul.
Yeah.
But I also, and I don't want to put too much into one practice where a guy mouths off and, you know, has a great day, you know, and Brooks. But I'm curious because of the size of the guy. He's a big man. For me, for my money, for what I've seen, if you want to know offensive line wise, best offensive lineman for me, for my money, it looks like Nick Gates. I mean, he's playing well at center. You know,
That's the center.
Yeah, he's mauling.
And there were some high snaps today, right?
I mean, you have a couple of those here and there, but that's to be expected in training camp, you know, as you work different things in. But just from a sheer blocking standpoint, this guy's solid. I mean, he really is. I just think fans have to understand, is this one of the top offensive lines in football? Hell no. We know that. But right. Is that one of the top defensive lines in football they're going up against? Hell yeah. And for me, you know, iron sharpen iron. You know, the only way you're going to get better is to know what your weaknesses are. And I think for a guy like Enemy, it's good that he can see that, and there's no comfort zone, period. Because I've covered this team for a long time, guys, and there's been times where the teams haven't been that strong on either side. So it makes one side look so dominant that you think you've arrived, and then when you go up against live bullets, real competition, it's not there. So for this team, the best thing that could happen for Washington and that offensive line is they're going up against a stout defensive line every day in practice. And then, oh, by the way, they're going to have a couple practices with the Ravens, which is a different group of guys. So this just really helps prepare them for their preseason and also, you know, the regular season.
Well, it doesn't help. I mean, it does not hurt that our preseason games are against Cleveland, Baltimore, and Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, absolutely. So
I mean, the only team we're missing is the Steelers. If we had a fourth preseason game, and we have the whole.
Yeah, we don't talk about fourth and fifth preseason games ever.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about those. Lady A, get in there.
So as we're talking about offensive line, I have a question. Mm-hmm. We all know Sam is probably going to take that QB1 spot, but I want to know how you feel about Jacoby, and then also with Fromm. How are they looking behind that line?
Jake from State Farm.
Well, I'll start with Jake. Yeah, I'll start with Jake. He has moments.
He's the quarterback.
He makes nice throws, and then he has moments where you can see why he's not really a starter in the NFL. And that's not to disrespect the young man. It's just speaking facts here. He's not a starter. He's probably going to always be a journeyman backup, and you know. But again, he's a pro. And there's times he looks like a really nice pro, and then there's times he struggles. Jacoby, you know, I kind of want to say the same things. I mean, he makes some really nice throws at times. You can see the arm strength. You can see, you know, the mobility. You can see the size. But then there's that it factor at times where you just don't see it, you know. With Sam, I listen, again, covered this team for a long time, and I've seen all you can name quarterback-wise, probably covered over 20, 25 different quarterbacks during that time frame. From a tool standpoint, Sam Howell's right up there at the top. I mean, he can make every throw. He's mobile, and he has this quiet confidence about him that's, you know, it's kind of contagious. The guys feed off that, and they like him. They like him because he's not arrogant. He's humble, but he's very confident, and he wants to prove. He told us, he flat out said, I want to prove that I belong and nothing's going to be handed to me. I want to earn it and win everybody's trust. So he's just going about the position the right way. And as I kept saying, he mentioned to us that the concepts, you know, the RPOs, you know, a lot of the terminologies that he's using in Eric Bieniemy's offense coming from Kansas City, Eric Bieniemy, is the same stuff that he used in North Carolina under Mac Brown. So he said he knows the playbook. He's confident in that. He can just go out and play football as opposed to have to worry about all the other things that sometimes young quarterbacks have thrust on him. This might be too much for people, but for him, he knows the playbook, so he can just go out and play football. And I think that's why it seems like he's a little ahead of the experience curve that some guys need to go through. I mean, he's making some really great throws out there, and he has his moments, but I've seen a lot more good than bad. He's probably, if you weigh it on the scale, 8 good, 2 bad, and that's not so bad for a young quarterback.
Right.
Lady A has come to an agreement with Major Tuddy, so I have a new interest in this young man I'm about to bring up right now, Dyami Brown. Since Lady A can make up with Tuddy and have an agreement with Tuddy, I have come to hope that Dyami Brown can really do something great, and I'm cheering for Dyami. I've literally I'm cheering on Dyami, and so far they said he's had a great camp. Now I understand today he got behind like every DB in one-on-ones that he wanted to. Is he showing different? Is he playing different? Is he playing with a better swag? What's going on with Dyami this year?
I'm going to say this, and this isn't to start any kind of controversy or anything like that, but Dyami Brown's having a camp. When I say a camp, he's showing he can be a Swiss Army knife because that's how they're using him all over the field, intermediate routes, deep routes. He's not just that goal 9 route guy. He's catching the ball everywhere. And he's surprising me because I didn't know he was that elusive. I didn't know he was that quick twitch, you know, in his hips, getting in and out of breaks. He looks to me a lot like Curtis Samuel, to be honest with you. And that's where I'm going with that. It's surprising. I see Ann up there. I'm telling you, Dyami Brown is showing me versatility that I did not know he had. I really did.
That's not why Ant making that face.
No, Ant's making that face because nobody believes.
We're gonna go ahead and say this right here. That sounds like offensive coordinator did a poor job with an Army Swiss knife. That's all I'm gonna say.
Didn't we say that, Sid?
Look,
and Lake, no. Just Cannon for a second. Lake, he's been riding this guy so bad. He wanted him cut last year.
Oh,
he got 2 touchdowns in a game last year. What else did he do? As if this team was just he was the only piece that held them back or something last year. There was a lot of issues going on with this team, and Dyami Brown was one of the reasons. The quarterback could barely get the ball to the number 1 receiver, let alone to Dyami Brown, for crying out loud. So that's what it's just. He keeps bringing it up because he thinks we're going to let him make it. We don't want to hear it. We
don't believe him. Like
Lady A really gave Major Tuddy, you know, a fair shake. So if she can do that, I told everybody. Matter of fact, y'all know what? I'm gonna tell y'all how serious I am.
That's disrespectful to Dyami by comparing him to Tuddy.
I ordered a number 2 jersey. I did. It's on the way. I have a number 2 jersey to show you guys how serious I am I have a number 2 jersey. My name's on the back, of course, but just to show you guys how serious I am.
What's the point then?
Doesn't matter. Dion wore 2 in high school. Who cares?
Oh man, I'm saying I'm trying to bridge the gap here with me and Dion.
No, you're not, because you put your name on it.
Can I? And let me say this, because this has nothing to do with none of these things. Queen, Miss Coco, I tried to put the catch today from Pickens in the chat. I guess nobody was interested. He had a crazy one.
I already put it in there.
But
okay, my bad. I didn't see it.
It's on the rundown. It's on the rundown going around the NFL. We got you. Yeah,
okay.
I put the check next to it. We got you.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Say it. It's on you. Say it. It's on you. Say it. It's your turn. I went and it's going.
No, I mean, I already said it. We were talking about De'Ami Brown. What I told Pick last week, what I've said at least on 2 separate podcasts is, with these wide receivers, the tight ends are gonna eat.
Yeah,
they ain't gotta be like Kansas City, because you got 2 speedsters and a slasher. So that means they're gonna back up. When they back up, what happens? Tight end free zone, pick a man.
Yeah, and don't forget,
quarterback gonna have to make sure he either hits the running back, hits the tight end. They're gonna be open,
right?
If they're healthy.
Well, the other thing is, don't forget Hodges. I'm really impressed with him, and he's definitely going to be the 4th tight end for them. This is for a 6'8" guy. You know, he's 6'8", and he's bulked up quite considerably. I mean, last year he was thin. They worked with him in the weight room. He looks like he's put on 20-25 pounds. I mean, legit. He's a big man. So this tight end room, for my money, is the largest tight end room in the NFL, because if you look at their 4 starters or 4 guys that'll make the team at the position, the smallest guy is going to be John Bates. He's not a small guy, so he's listed
like 6'5",
more like 6'5", 6'6". That's your smallest tight end. So I agree. No, they don't have a Travis Kelce, but guess what? No team in the NFL does. I mean, this guy, Kelsey's one of the top 3 tight ends in history. If you look at the numbers, they don't lie. So you have to think about that, So they need a collection of Logan Thomas and John Bates and Hodges and Cole Turner, who's having a nice camp. They need all these guys to collectively be one to give you, 70% of the production of Travis Kelce. And if you can get that, because the one thing Kansas City did not have, they didn't have these wide receivers. Washington's wide receiving core is without question better than Kansas City's. That's not for debate. Quarterback getting those guys the ball in Kansas City can make guys look better. I mean, they didn't have a weapon since Tyreek Hill, and I mean that sincerely. Like they've got guys, and I like Sky Moore and some of the guys they brought in Kansas City. But Terry McLaurin's a Pro Bowler. You can't take that from him, and he's a Pro Bowler that's ascending. Jahan Dotson has Pro Bowl skills. His game's going to ascend. Curtis Samuel's healthy. De'Ami Brown now looks like he's found a comfort zone in this offense. So their receivers are better. I don't think that's for debate. It's just who's going to get them the ball. And we all think it's Sam Howell. If they can get that, now it opens up the floor for the tight ends, because now you can't, like in Kansas City, everybody knows Kelsey's going to get the ball, and they double team him, triple team him, he still gets it. But Washington has so many more weapons. And then in the backfield, Brian Robinson's catching the ball out the backfield at will in practices. And that's something that, of course, Scott Turner didn't utilize. He was giving them toss sweeps on 3rd and 1s, to the strong side of a defense. We all know that the offensive play calling was tragic for this team. So now you have a guy that has a brilliant offensive mind. And guys, their offense and Lady A, their offense looks modern. It looks like it has big play capability. They're getting guys the ball in space all over the field. It's not one guy all the time. I was concerned that Jahan Dotson hadn't gotten the ball a lot. Well, today he was front and center killing, and that's what you want. Who's getting better also daily? Emmanuel Forbes. Martin. They're all Jartavius Martin. They're all getting better because they're going up against a pretty good receiving core. These are things that Washington hasn't had over the years. They haven't had backup depth. They haven't had, guys that can push the front line guys to be even better. But now you have all of this stuff in place. The only thing that's going to hold this team back is poor coaching. And I just think Ron Rivera is moving out the way, letting Bieniemy run the offense, let Jack Del Rio run the defense. This thing could be very interesting this year if it comes together early.
Nice. And
I agree.
he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready.
I appreciate
It's
it.
your go. And come on, man. It's your go.
Nah, I mean, listen, man. Can I just do this? And I know you guys aren't going to like this, but it's fine. I know you guys just changed ownership. I get it. I do. And I appreciate that. Okay. This is still the Washington football team. Okay. Eric Bieniemy, we don't know what we're going to get here. Okay. And this is the thing. There's this, I keep hearing people do it. Lou just did it earlier. There's this waffling between, well, Eric, what he does with tight ends. I mean, you know what Andy does with tight ends. Well, we don't know which part he actually really played over there. We know he played a part. Let's be clear here. Some of the reasons why he hadn't got a job yet is because people didn't know what he actually did. Was he responsible for the running backs? Because that was a big part of his past and what he did for the running backs coach. I'm just saying.
Well, I also think that
the only disagreement I got with you on that, Ant, is the same thing with the previous two offensive coordinators who spent less time, did less, still got a job faster than he did. He did the same thing as he did.
I agree.
That's my only thing.
And for my money,
I'm with you on that.
Let's not look at Nagy and what he didn't do in Chicago. How about we look at what Doug Peterson did in Philly, won a Super Bowl, and look at what he's doing now in Jacksonville. So, if you're going to do it both ways, you got to look at the positives too. So there has been some coaches come up from Andy Reid's tree that did it, and they're doing it at a high level. Why not Eric Bieniemy? I mean, and let's face it, Nagy went into Chicago, and that was a crap show. So they didn't even have a quarterback at the time. I think they thought it was Trubisky. Well, we know how that worked. Look at what Peterson inherited by going to Jacksonville. He inherited a pretty talented young team that Urban Meyer just tried to take over. Up. So now you look at Bieniemy, and listen, I talked to Eric. I talked to him off the field, and Eric was like he loves the young talent that they have, and he said about Jahan the other day to me directly, just us talking, said the guy's got something else in him, and he was like, we've got it right here. We just got to put it together. We got to come together. You can tell he knows he's got some stuff to work with. I mean, he's got some seasoning in the pot. And if, he can cook it long enough, it might taste good enough. So we'll see.
Lady A.
And almost anybody is going to be better than Scott Turner.
Oh, my God, yes.
I don't know. I think Scott didn't get a fair shake.
Nah,
You want Scott?
I'm just kidding.
Would you take Scott and would you take him in Dallas?
Are you forgetting who you talking to? And because last season I was ready to
commit murder
wherever he was deciding to call plays every game.
Yeah,
I kid, guys. I kid.
Don't play with me, Ant.
Because Lake, we went to the Houston game. We went to the Houston game, and I was up there yelling, "You gonna throw the ball to McLaurin or what?" It was late in the third quarter. Are you gonna throw the ball toward the number one receiver this game? Literally yelling that.
Scott's problem was he came from that tree of I'm gonna think what you think I'm gonna do and counter it, as opposed to I'm gonna do what I want until you stop me. That's the difference between him and Eric, and I can assure you that right now. Bieniemy's going to try some things, and if you do not take it away, it's going to be spoon-fed to you. There's no reason to outthink yourself, and I think Scott did that on so many occasions. And I go back to the Cleveland game. 2nd and 1, you throw a deep route incomplete. 3rd and 1, you run a toss sweep Brian Robinson to the side of the field of Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett. and it was a 3-yard loss. He thought, Cleveland probably thought, there's no way he's going to run to our strong side. So again, it's just one of those, I'm smarter than you, I'm going to outthink you. No, you outthunk yourself. And I just want to see guys line up like the old team here. They ran that John Riggins, you knew what was coming until somebody took it away. And
well, the offensive line was telling people what was coming.
Absolutely. And it's just common sense. You know, you don't have to be that smart. I'm not saying you don't have to be smart to play football, but what I'm saying is talent is talent. And until you take my talent away from me, I'm going to keep bringing it at you. And I think that's the simplified version of what we're going to see now. The difference is it's not going to be one guy. It's not going to be just Terry. I can assure you that. It's going to be a lot of collection of players that are going to be involved in the offense on Sunday. But one of them will have one of those type of days, and Eric's going to keep going to that person. It could be Dyami Brown, you know, as a fourth receiver. If he's having a big day, they're going to keep going to him until somebody takes him out the game, takes him away. And that's all you want. You just want the simplicity of the game.
Let's go, 2.
That's actually not. You actually lose a respect pick with this fake
I'm trying to tell you,
celebration for Diaby.
It's not fake, man. It's
Now
not.
he's excited about the fourth guy. Come on.
Listen, if 2 is on the field, if 2's on the field and he's doing this thing, that means we are taking off.
That's actually not true.
Stop it.
That's not true based
We
off
know
of last
you don't
year.
believe that. Stop it.
Y'all lost
I'm
his
just
2-touchdown game. I'm just saying.
You bringing up old stuff.
Hey.
Bring it up.
Got to be and Lake. That's why you said you got to also be equal about the optimism. Trust me, they do enough of that. Somebody's got to be the realist.
I want to hear about this guy Kaz Allen from UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
I understand he's returning punts and kicks and things like that, but they're working him in as a wide receiver as well. How's he looking there?
He's got some work to do. I mean, he had, runs nice routes, does get open at times, but, there was a deep ball today that, it was on his fingertips and you didn't catch it. But for my money, those are the ones you have to catch because,
Right.
You're not guaranteed to make the roster. If you make it, clearly they want you to do something special teams wise because he was great at UCLA at that. But if you really want to secure that spot, you got to catch that deep ball. Somehow you got to lay out, you got to find a way to catch it because that draws attention your way. But the kid is shifty. He definitely is an electrifying type guy out there. But I personally, there's other receivers that, Pringle, who they just brought in, looks solid. The other kid they brought in from Kansas City has made plays as well. So a young player, Tinsley from Penn State, he's a nice young player, but they're going to be up against it because I gotta say we are whenever I mention my school. But they're going to be
Penn
up.
State?
Yeah, they're going to be up against it because there's veterans, in that wide receiver room. So, that's why the practice squad has expanded. So you might be able to keep these guys on there. I do want to see this team take the next step special teams wise, though, because you got a young quarterback. The best thing, you can do for him is get him, nice field position. The defense should flip the field a lot. But you want somebody back there that puts fear in people. Should I punch at this guy or what should we do? And Kaz Allen has that potential to be that kind of punt returner. But, with this team, there's so many veteran receivers and all of them are out there doing their thing. Do you keep a guy just for special teams to return a punt when, nowadays punt returning and kickoff returning are at a minimum because of the new rules and things like that? Guys are kicking the ball at the back of the end zone, period. So do you just stick Antonio Gibson back there again? Maybe he has more value now. So there's a lot of questions to ask with that. But to get back to your original question, he shows potential, but I don't know if it's enough to warrant a roster spot. So we'll have to wait till the preseason.
When the Cheetah first arrived in the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
He was not a polished receiver.
No.
And so Eric saw that maturation where they just ran like certain things to him, got the ball to him in space, and they brought him along slowly. Could you see that same path for Kaz Allen?
No. and that's not to knock him, but I'm just saying he's no Tyreek Hill. So
that's why I don't understand why he just said that.
I just
that's the stuff that frustrates me.
Yeah, but to bring anybody along, that's what you have to do. That's any young player. but that's not, I would just say that's not a fair comparison, because Kaz Allen is, you knew Tyreek Hill was making the team, and you knew he did have some wide receiver skills. I mean, is he the most polished receiver catching the ball with his hands and things like that? No, because he doesn't need to, because he's so fast. But this kid doesn't have that room, that margin for error at all. So, yeah, totally different players.
I got you, Lady A. All right. Lake, you got somebody you want to bring on with you?
No, actually, so I'm in Ashburn, and she's still back. So I'll be back. I'll be going home Thursday night. Definitely miss her, but yeah, she's not with me. But she definitely, when I told her, she definitely would have loved to have come on. So the next time when we're together, I promise you we'll be on there. But no, I'm staying in the hotel for right now.
Okay. Well, I think we kept you over, but we really do appreciate it, man. And thank you for your time again. And Lake, thank you so much for just being available to us, and we appreciate it. Make sure y'all check out Lake and After Practice, his After Practice podcast. It's amazing. You catch him on IG at Lake Lewis Jr. as well. He's amazing there. All kinds of good content going up everywhere. We really appreciate it, man. And thank you for your time.
All right, guys, as always, and Lady A, I definitely appreciate it. It was good seeing you, by the way, at the other day. So she made it happen. So you got to give her a round of applause.
Yeah, that's my girl. Yeah, she's out there getting it in. Thank you.
Yep,
in the heat. And did you know she did the official count for the number of fans in attendance? She did. Everyone by hand. She counted every person out there by hand. Counted the baby twice.
Who were there? Because I thought it would maybe like 5,500, something like that.
Oh no, they said 10,000.
There was not 10,000 fans out.
So there were some fans, a lot of fans tucked away. If you go up to the skybox area, you could see it was a whole bunch of fans tucked. They were behind the goal post, and it was ridiculous. I believe it.
I might say 7 tops. I mean, for the sake of, listen, 7 is better than 0, which I've seen over the past several years. And even today, on a Tuesday, it was a decent crowd base there. I mean, the stands are all filled up. So it's not like sporadic. It's all filled up. Today was a beautiful day. It was in the low 80s this morning with a breeze. It felt great, so.
Yeah, I think it was a rotation, because I know some people that came early couldn't take the heat and left, and some people came a little later. So it could have been.
Yeah, Saturday was brutal. It was hot. It was hot.
Hot, very.
Yeah, we'll have to get you back so we can talk more about running backs, linebackers, and the secondary.
Anytime. Just let me know. I'll be here. But I definitely appreciate you guys, and you got a great show. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
You.
We appreciate it. That was Lake Lewis Jr. Check him out as always. Listen, y'all ready to have some fun? Y'all ready to have some fun? Some fun.
I have fun regardless of what I'm doing. What you talking about?
Hey, we're about to get into it, because y'all was going ham earlier in the chat this morning really fast. And I think you put this into the chat. It was Peyton versus Nagy. No, Hackett. It was
Hackett.
Peyton versus Hackett. It was Peyton versus Hackett, and you got it.
Well, it's actually Sean Payton versus his own mouth and ego. Okay, let me say this.
Say it.
He is perfectly within his rights to say whatever he wants to say. But to me, it would be like a player calling out another player for not showing up because he wants to get money on a contract. There's a brotherhood amongst every group. And that's how I see it. You don't have to agree, but I believe that one coach shouldn't disrespect another one, even if he did the most piss poor job you ever seen. Okay? That's just what it is, man. I think you're just trying to create waves. I think he's a very arrogant guy. He's very egotistical. He thinks very highly of himself. And that's okay. You need that type of confidence. I wish he would be the guy that would be coaching us right now, actually, as a Dallas Cowboy fan. But to me, you're out of line for this. Not because you don't have the right to say whatever you want to, but I just believe as a coach in the NFL, amongst other coaches, we don't call them out, especially if they're not a part of our team. It doesn't matter if he was in your organization last year. Doesn't matter. You shut your mouth, man, because we don't know how this is gonna go for you. We don't know if this team is actually going to jail and y'all going to be successful. You can be eating that same crow. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, he can say what he wants. He's a grown man, but I thought about it as I listened to what Sid had to say and Lady had to say, and I was just like, yeah, no, just shut up, bro, and go show how it's done. Let's not act like also your record post Super Bowl isn't that great, homie.
But he got a ring. That's hard to get.
What have you done for me lately? Nobody's patting Mike McCarthy on the back for that ring you won 15 years ago.
But the club of Super Bowl coaches is really small. He got a ring.
That does not give you the right to. And let's go look at his record before he left. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you.
You left for more reasons than you want to spend time with family. Okay, your team sucked.
Hold on. No. And he got robbed.
Great.
He got robbed of 2 Super Bowls. And he got robbed of 2 Super Bowls.
Oh, you won them?
No. The chance to appear in 2 Super Bowls.
I had you got this. You got to say the referees did juice them on definitely juiced them on one. Definitely juiced them on one. Which was the potential for them to go back to the Super Bowl. They definitely got juiced on one.
One of them,
but you're right. You're right, Ant. I can see it both ways. Like you said, it's a brotherhood, and you may not should say that. And on the same time, like you said, he could be trying to drum up some buzz. For the Broncos after what happened last year, even though they got wide receivers dropping left and right. They down to 2 starters. And one of them was trying to lead last year. So let's see how that works out.
Lady A, you said something in the chat. Go ahead and say what you said.
John. Terrible. But it's I see both sides as well. On one hand, he spoke the truth. He felt like this man, that was his truth. He felt like he was a trash coach, so he called out a trash coach. The problem with that is that what you see, if you for those who want to Google it or whatever, what you see on a consistent basis is that he broke a code, right? By talking bad about him. It's one of those situations where nobody asked you your opinion, but you gave it.
Yes.
And a lot of times it's just and you're right, Ant. That's that arrogance. Who are you to talk about this man? Who are you? And then he gonna mess around and get jumped by old man Rodgers and Hackett at the same time because you're running your mouth. Okay, so that's a problem because when you start giving your opinion when it's not asked, you're gonna have situations like that. So I feel like on one hand, he spoke his truth, but nobody asked for it. And this is a professional environment, so you're supposed to be a professional coach in the NFL, and we know that everyone in the NFL does not act in a professional capacity. They don't act like they're mature adults sometimes either. But as the head coach, you're supposed to set that example. You're supposed to be better than, and he's not. So it's not a good look for him. I understand that that's how he felt. A lot of people agree with what he said, but I just felt like he could have kept it to himself. He could have.
I don't know, Lady A. Listen, I think that he literally, I mean, and if you look at I think that he is deflecting for that team. And if you look at the Broncos, I think he's trying to take some bullets for Russ. They lost 2 wide receivers in one day. They lost 2 wide receivers in one day. Mm-hmm. So that even though that defense might be great, that offense now has no weapons. They had an okay running game, but who's he going to throw the ball to? Who is Russ going to throw the ball to?
Let me ask you this, Hold on. I don't know what's going on. Hold on.
You cooking something?
Burning the house
But,
down.
but yeah, like I said,
Burning the whole house down right now.
let's not act like that line's any different. Did they go get the Hogs or something? They
Whoa.
Last year. I'm just saying.
They
That's a
did
fact.
lead the league in pre-snap penalties last year. Couldn't get out the huddle. So I
And
mean,
they couldn't keep Russ upright.
he spoke the truth. He spoke the truth about why Russ took such a huge step back. You know,
Russ
So-
wasn't cooking already in Seattle, buddy. Let's not do that.
oh, I mean,
Let's not do that.
He was on a little
You
simmer.
see,
He was
see,
on-
now I agree with you on one thing you said. He's trying to deflect a little bit for Russ. Absolutely. And Russ did, if we look at the numbers, got better second half after Hackett was gone. That's
Thanks,
a
Ed.
fact. He finally got multiple touchdowns. Remember, he didn't have double-digit touchdowns for a long time.
right.
So there's something to that. I was actually going to say that. So that was a great point actually that you made. But at the end of the day, like I said, now you're battling the war of attrition. Guys are dropping like flies. Russ is also a year older.
Yeah,
Like,
but
this stuff, I'm
he-
just saying
he's gonna have to use his
listen,
leg.
He
He's
was
gonna have to
never
use his leg.
Breeze.
No,
Even Russ
he
at his
wasn't.
best was, and I'm saying, so my thing is this: you just got to be careful because you can look up in the Joker and the egg will be on you. You see what I'm saying? Because if you
Yeah, I
come
got
out
you.
here and go 0-2, 0-3, and you start looking like the cellar dweller again, what do you have to say? So
I don't know about
that's all.
Let's talk about this thing that Sid put in the chat. Sid, you got it.
What I put in chat?
Come on, man, stop
No,
playing.
man. No, it's just, I mean, just around the league. I mean, nothing against Drake. You know, Atlanta drafted him out of USC. Nothing against Drake, but you had the same prototype in George Pickens,
George Pickens from where?
University of Georgia,
University of
my- and-
Georgia.
and he not from Georgia. He from Alabama, so they can't give me this in his backyard. But anyway, he has shown you he's a willing blocker. You know, he's a wide receiver who's shown you he's a willing blocker, willing to take on DBs, willing to take on linebackers. But now, what we saw last year with the poor quarterback play is the dude has an amazing catch radius. Amazing. The dude has a one-hand catch.
That's
He
going
jumped up,
bananas.
almost horizontal, snatches it in one hand over the DB. You
Listen,
can't make
Coco, you are not paying attention right now. We're talking Pittsburgh Steelers here.
you can't make this stuff up.
I do
And-
not know who threw him the ball, but
I
He
couldn't
was
see who threw the ball as well.
one-on-one with the DB, running down the sideline, he stops on a dime. I swear to God, the dude left 8 cents right there. The DB kept going, went behind him, grabbed it with one hand, and then gave the DB the ball after he caught it on him. I was like, are you kidding me? That catch was
Yeah.
2 cents, and he gave that dude 8 cents back.
He's
I
he's
was like,
competitor,
oh.
man.
Oh my
He's a good
God. It was a bananas catch. Said I'm trying to tell you, man. Ant was like, that was crazy. But I was like, oh my God. I was freaking out. I watched it like 8 times. I was trying to see if he really caught it with one hand or if it was if he just grabbed it and brought it in.
Oh, yeah,
it was a
He
crazy
brought that
catch.
thing around.
It was a
Boom.
crazy catch. It was
Yeah.
a crazy catch. Pickens from the University of what I said, where's he from?
University of Georgia.
University of Georgia. He's going to be a problem this year. He's going to be a problem this year. I can't. Lady A, did you see the catch? What did you think?
First of all, I just came back in. So can I go back for a second?
It's been- okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to go back for a second.
Go
Pitt,
back for a
let me ask
second.
you a question.
Yes,
Who was our offensive coordinator last year?
Turner,
And who's our offensive coordinator now?
Bieniemy.
Did he talk trash about Turner?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know. Okay, next.
Thank
You
you.
said
There
we're
you
talking
go.
about some
We talk about that Pickens catch that was in the chat.
Oh, so I'm scared to say anything because I feel like flags are gonna go across the screen and all kinds of stuff is gonna happen. But I feel like I got to give credit to Said because Said is always talking about certain players. And like these players, like when he'll talk about them, we're like, whatever, Said. But then whole time we'll see something crazy later on and we're like, oh, that's what Said was talking about. I'll give Said the credit or give his mama the credit for him making that catch.
Give his mama the credit.
Give his mama the credit so that, you know.
I'm going to need you to put yourself in the corner and deliver yourself a FedEx sign.
His mama gave him that talent, right?
Oh, did she? Give yourself a fine.
No, that's not what I'm referring to. It's in his DNA pick.
And
you know what?
I'm gonna need you to be the judge on this one. Does she deserve
business.
a fine?
What you do is your business, okay? What I'm talking about here is the fact that his mama. Hello, but anyway.
Aunt, does she deserve a fine? Aunt?
Nah, I'm not drawing.
It's the way you're
interpreting
it.
Okay, it was a little light. It was a little light. We'll let that slide.
That's not my fault that you interpret things the way that you interpret them. That's your business.
I got you.
That was
Now,
a
she
little
done
light.
made reference to the 99 and the 2000 or something. That's different. But that was just a good old catch. You see what I'm saying? So we can let that slide.
The 99 and the 2000. That's
All
not.
right, I got you. Okay.
See, this is what I'm talking about. I can't even. No. Thank you, Bruce, because you know he interpreted what he wanted to interpret.
HR gets a pass. Okay. All right. Okay. You can't find HR. Got you. All right. Okay. Let's do this. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow. It's out. The cat's out the bag. You can't put it back. The cat is out the bag. Joe Burrow is going to be one of the quarterbacks on quarterback next year. He's going to be one of the QBs on quarterbacks next year.
Right.
What's up, Sid?
Your boy is also Lamar.
Lamar is the other one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's different.
Oh my God. We know Sam said no, he's not doing it. Sam said, I got too much to do. I'm not doing quarterback.
I mean,
who?
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Who do you think the third quarterback is going to be? Give me
there are 32 teams, so who knows?
Well, we know 3 of them that they can't be.
Probably Rain Dakota.
Dak. RG3 is the third one.
What? No, never.
RG3 is the third one.
Why does Metaphor always got to bring up RG3?
Maybe Watson.
He got a thing for him.
I think
maybe
Metaphor
Watson
is the president of the fan club.
So it goes a good quarterback, a mid quarterback, and a lower tier quarterback, right? So we got to go lower tier here, right? So we got to think.
I said, Dak.
You don't think Dak is mid?
I don't care.
You call it Dak mid? Well, Dak did lead.
It could be Fields, depending on how the season turn out. Because they are whatever they're doing, they're already going to be recording throughout. No, I mean he's from Georgia, but he went to Clemson.
No, he went to Georgia.
Ohio State.
He went to Georgia.
What I'm saying is they already have those guys mic'd up. The ones that they want, they're already mic'd up. So they're just going to take the pieces that they want and go from there. Because if you watch the first one like I did, they gave Mariota the wazoo. They slid him right in there, tossed him to the side, kicked him a couple times, laid him to rest.
Well, he did get benched though. Said he got benched throughout. I mean, halfway through that.
You got to. They still should have finished the season, even though they brought a new quarterback in. It is what it is. But the way they did the Falcons, that was my only thing is the way they did them. We was a spec in the first episode. A spec in the second episode. We was not in the third episode. And as a matter of fact, I didn't think it was in the fourth episode. Until the next one after that was when he was being benched. And then that was it.
I got you.
For the Falcons.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I had to get that one in there. I forgot to put it in there. That's why I was.
But then, then I had to look and see who produced the show. There's a Tennessee fan. Hey, man, I should have known.
It's
We've
Peyton.
been beating the bricks at them all year.
I don't know
All right.
what y'all talking
He
about.
show up to every game next year. His jinxie behind. Yeah, jinx.
All right.
Go ahead.
So let's go here. Let's go to Jim Irsay. Let's go to Jim Irsay and Jonathan Taylor. And I think this was on YouTube.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Oh, you talking about them possibly putting him on the non-exempt list?
Yeah, and I got a solution for this as well.
Man, so Said actually brought me a new dynamic to this about there being a fake injury, not a fake injury going on. So it was I'm assuming that was the precursor to this whole non-exempt thing, which is still kind of shaky. But the fix is in, man. That's just the bottom line. They are trying to do everything they can to make these top tier players be devalued, and I don't understand it. Sidebar. Dalvin Cook is down to 2 teams. Your Dallas Cowboys is one of those teams.
Oh, come on, really?
I ain't listening now. I don't want no problems. I'm just telling you now.
Stick to the docket, and stick to the.
No,
go ahead.
Neither one of these was on the docket. So what are you talking about?
I got you, man. Neither one of these is on the rundown. Hey, around the NFL, it's everything.
Where's that?
You gotta start being very specific on this stuff.
What do you mean? It's around the NFL.
He'll say that, and then he'll just throw something out there and be like, "Ant said." No,
that's around the NFL. That's around the NFL. No,
around the NFL now.
But the stories that y'all bring, I told you, I put a checkmark back. Is going in.
Right.
Okay, so
see,
go ahead. Irsay versus Taylor.
We're still talking about the coach. The thing is, not only did they sign another running back, bring him in, he tweeted it almost immediately after Sheffield reported they will put him on the NFI list. I forgot what it stood for. I'm sorry. And he was like, "What injury? Who said it? I don't have no back injury. What back?" So now, which is what I sent right on over to Schefter as he posted it up. You might need to go back and read Jonathan Taylor's tweets. He said he ain't got no back injury. Who said it?
Yeah.
So then, about 10 minutes later, you see Schefter come back and say the same thing that I said. Jonathan Taylor say he ain't got no back injury. So who said it? So if they put him on the list, you have to tell who said it.
You got to tell people when you sitting here putting out this little information like that. You got to tell people.
That's right.
You can't just slide something out there, like, oh, I'm gonna just say you got an injury. You got to tell the man first.
You know who's gonna have something to say about it.
Schefter, you on notice, buddy. You lied to me. You stealing from him. Okay, we're gonna deal with it. We're gonna deal with it.
Hey, okay. The NFLPA is going to have something to say about this. Now, here's the real question. Is this all because of he's in the last year of his contract? Think about it. He's in the last year of his contract.
I think he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild.
Okay.
That's what I think. I mean, it may be the last contract. I think he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild. I mean, it's a lot of guys don't want to. Remember now, we talking about a running back pick.
Yeah.
We already
have a long shelf life.
We already said that they are devaluing the running back. He was one of the best running backs last year. Why do I want to be on a team that's completely rebuilding? That's at least 3 years.
Not last year, the year before, and the year before.
Right.
Not last year. He's in the last year of his contract. Right? He got to think about injury. They're going to work him like a stubborn mule, right?
That's part of the rebuild. That's what I said.
They're going to go RPO with him and Anthony Richardson, right? Because if you could go RPO with him and Anthony Richardson, that allows Anthony Richardson to grow. Every young quarterback needs what? A strong running game. He don't want to do that. I mean, you're going to do that and then hit him with the franchise tag next year? And then hit him with the franchise tag the year after that. That's 6 years, and he's done. He's wasted. Done. He wants no part of that. Exactly. So he's telling y'all, I'm not hurt. He's telling you, I'm not hurt, and I want to be paid. Let's talk contract extension, and all of a sudden now he's hurt. No, get out of here. Here's the solution to this. I told you, I got the solution, and this just came to me. All right, who takes up the majority of the cap for every team that's relevant. The 14 teams that make it to the playoffs, who takes up the majority of the cap? Quarterback. All right. So here's the thing. Y'all have heard Fred Smoot come on here and say we can't find 15 quarterbacks to be exceptional at the same time, right?
30.
So once you find 30, right? Once you find your quarterback, they go to a different part of the cap, their own separate cap. And then everybody else stays in the same cap, and then you could pay the running backs what they deserve. They're not going to do it, but I'm just saying that's what needs to happen is the quarterbacks need to have their own separate cap. Just like baseball. Baseball is not capped, but pitchers take up a majority of the money unless you have an exceptional batter or position group. Then they, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, they get their special, type things like that. But quarterbacks need their own special category where they're allotted this amount of your cap, but it doesn't really affect your cap. That's the solution. So running backs can
and it
be.
takes away from the competitiveness of forcing the GM.
Well, not
to
even
make
just that. I disagree.
No, but you have to find your franchise quarterback to go into that category. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, you can't go into that category.
But Pitt, here's the problem with that. We've said this before, but if you do what you're planning, you're going to have even more quarterbacks who are overpaid and underperforming.
Daniel Jones is the 11th highest paid quarterback in the league.
Okay.
Right? Do you think that he's overpaid?
Yes.
You think that he's overpaid. So when Joe Burrow signs his contract, he will then become the 12th highest paid quarterback.
So let me ask you a question.
Next year, when the next group of quarterbacks
is Joe Burrow yeah, I'm like, is Daniel Jones one of the 11 best quarterbacks in the NFL?
No. But listen, what you're paying right now, is going to be knocked down next year. So where he's mid.
So just because he does not work,
because he's number 11 right now, doesn't mean that
the question.
He was a losing quarterback before last year.
Highest paid quarterback.
He's the 11th.
You said, is he overpaid? If he is ranked number 11, then no. He's not overpaid. If he's ranked lower than that, guess what? The man is overpaid.
And he was a losing quarterback, an injured losing quarterback until last year.
The Chargers quarterback is overpaid. He is overpaid.
Yeah, he's another one.
If you do a separate quarterback cap pay, you're gonna have too many quarterbacks that are overpaid. We already have too many. I don't think that would be a good move.
It was just an idea.
Yeah, I know.
Just an idea. I worked off of it, Where are we at? Jamin Davis speeding. We talked about it a little.
We already did that.
No, we're on trade deadline.
Okay, trade deadline. Ant's ready to go. Trade deadline, say it. This is you.
Yes, sir.
It's on you, say it. You and Ant are baseball guys.
Hey, I didn't put
you see what I'm saying? You see how you do it?
Okay, so all right, so let's start. I can start. My team had one. Next,
we got him out of there, and we signed him to a 1-year deal.
Let me go back. Let me see how far I can go back. So the Rangers traded for left-handed pitcher Jordan Montgomery and right-handed pitcher Chris Stratton. We gave up what we gave up. Not a big deal. We also got Max Scherzer for what would have been the 11th or 12th prospect, Acuna Jr.'s brother. He became the number 1 prospect for them. That's how good our farm system actually is now. We also
y'all followed his brother. That's why. But go ahead.
Anyway, moving on. You stay over there, buddy. Let me finish this off. Then we also made a trade for a catcher, Austin Hedges, today. And that has a lot to do with one of our star catcher, Jonah Heim, looking like he's going to be out for the year. He has been hitting the leather off the ball this year, or the laces off the ball, the stitches, whatever you want to call them. He has been slugging away, and he got hurt. So that was good for us to pick up. So, listen, The Rangers have been doing. Oh, and we got I didn't even see this one, or it was a late one. We got a right-handed pitcher, Spencer Howard from the Yankees for cash considerations. So the Rangers are all in. We hold a half a game lead over the Astros.
You say y'all got or y'all sent it?
No. We got him.
No.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Y'all sent him to the.
We sent
Rangers.
Spencer Howard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're right. My bad. We sent him there for cash. But
I remember
love
seeing
all
that
the
one.
moves. Love all the moves that the Rangers have done. Chris Young, new GM. He's aggressive. He wants to win now. We have a couple guys out with injuries, so we got something to look forward to as far as the bats are concerned. We have a half game lead over the Astros, who went and got Justin Verlander today. If you remember, he was a part of that team that won the last championship.
Verlander went to Houston.
He went
That's what I
back
just
to
said.
Houston.
He went back to
Yeah.
Houston.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. No.
The Mets are having a fire sale.
Yeah, everything must go.
Everything
So-
must go.
So yeah, man. The second half is going to be very interesting. It was a lot of wheeling and dealing today. Say it. What you got on that? Did y'all make any moves?
Nobody would trade with his player
Because they wanted
Nope.
Robert.
I'm gonna say again. Nobody would trade with the Braves. Nobody. But anyway,
Orioles. The
what-
Orioles
what I
acquired
found-
a
what I found-
right-hander.
hold on.
We
What I
don't-
found
we don't
funny
care
about
about them.
that fire sale in the Mets, Verlander came from Houston to the Mets. The Mets traded back to Houston. Guess what? The Mets are on the hook for like $54 million for this
Yeah.
trade.
Yeah,
Are
their
you
owner
freaking
said
kidding?
I'm not winning with you, but I'll pay your salary to leave. I will pay your salary to go away.
They're
That's
paying
absolutely
35. I think they're paying 35 of Scherzer's money. We're paying
Yep.
22. So yeah, they just you should at least let them take you to dinner first. But
He
Apparently-
did take him to dinner.
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He said, "Hey, this is just gonna be a long, hard road." That's what he said.
Hey. No.
I mean, we were waiting for a little picture. Maybe somebody will slide into our DMs. Maybe we can get one or two, but nobody did.
Nobody slid in your
out
team.
there dry.
Nobody.
No,
slid in
y'all,
your
you
DMs,
say y'all
man.
got no. You say y'all got no. Hey, big head, Texas, huh?
Y'all was just. Hey.
And nobody
Terrible.
say, "Hey, big head."
No.
Not
Hey,
a one.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I just, all right. We listen. All hands on deck. Let's see what we do down the stretch now. It's about to get interesting.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, Uh-oh.
does this do anything to improve y'all chances of going to the World Series, to being in the World Series?
Yes,
You think so?
I already said that. Get off that phone, pick. Pay attention.
Yeah, it does.
First
for the
off-
Braves. For the Braves, we need a couple pitchers to heal up and come back before we make this run toward the pennant. What's his name? Strider, who just pitched about 3 days ago, maybe 4 days ago, is pitching again today against Ohtani and the Angels. The Braves up 5-1. But we can't. You're gonna wear that dude out. So we need those other two guys from the who we sent down to heal up and come on back to get into this rotation, so we can keep this. We can keep this train running. We've been up and down. I think we like 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5. The last 4 or 5 games, because we lost our rhythm since we went to the All-Star game. I kind of wish now we could just kept moving.
Do you think that what the Angels are doing, do you think they will have a chance at the playoffs, or they're just doing this in futility, trying to get Shohei to stay in Anaheim?
No, they wanted too much for him. That's why they had to pull him off. Nobody was willing to give them what they wanted for him with with the numbers he put up so far. So no, they
don't get me wrong.
No
Don't get
way,
me
man.
wrong.
No
I would
way,
have
man.
gave up a couple top prospects to get him.
But they didn't want just a couple, Ant. They wanted more than a couple. They wanted a Hersh Walker.
And they talk about this kid. They talk about Shohei being worth $700 million.
Now
$700
you see what I'm talking about?
million.
They wanted a Herschel Walker. So
Mm-mm.
you understand that. So you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what they wanted. That's why they pulled him off. Nobody was biting Ant. Nobody.
This is the thing. What are you gonna do? Because you're gonna either have to pay him or you're gonna lose him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, to win a chip though, as a summer, just a rental for hey.
Let me check.
I mean,
check.
no, that's
leading
not. No. He's not worth a rental to win a championship when you're gonna consider what you're giving up, and then he's gonna go somewhere else.
Right.
I want a championship. Don't get me wrong, but I'd rather have him long term. Listen, the guy is like dang near pitching shutouts, and then he's cranking out Barry Bonds level home run tears. Like that's rare. But I also want to lock him up. I don't just want to get a championship out of him and he's gone. You see what I'm saying?
So, and what you telling me is if you could have Holly Berry for one night and you could knock her up.
Pick. Do me a favor.
I'm sorry.
Do me a favor.
I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah, go ahead. In your corner.
I'm gonna go over here.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Ed. What were you saying? Because this one right here.
I don't know. I don't even know where I was at anymore. All I know is it's gonna be a race to the finish with us and the Rays. Houston seems like they're starting to find their stride. Getting Verlander, he was the better out of him and Scherzer, but you never know the shot in the arm that it could be when you're going from a losing team to a contender. So we could see Scherzer get his groove back a little bit, you know what I'm saying, and start dealing. He's used to prime Scherzer's giving up 1 home run per 9 innings. He's giving up more like 2. So if he can regress to the mean in that area, that's going to go a long way. Nathan Uvalde still out with the forearm on the 15-day DL. We can get him back. Now we're looking at clicking on full cylinders. One of the better things that happened was we were able to get Martin Perez out of there because Martin Perez, he shot out like a cannon last year, and he's kind of not looking so hot this year. He's really costing us some like he's only good for maybe 5 innings, if that. So now that we kind of pushed him out of that top 3 to 4 rotation, now you got John Gray as your 4th guy. And then you can use Perez, and it could be like an extended bullpen kind of.
There you go. That's what I was thinking, Ant. That's what I was thinking.
So that's what I'm hoping. But baseball in Texas is about to get very interesting.
Hey, so Ant, you missed Saturday's show, but me and Sid, we was like, we gotta get some tickets. So we need you to look.
I agree.
We need you to look, man. So we can get some tickets and blow it out there.
That game time app you put me on.
I mean, cut you off, but I was looking at Ohtani contract. Oh, he finna pay.
Well, don't have Pick get the tickets because we are right now.
First off, Lady A, don't do that to me because I got some news for us after the show. Thank you very much.
I hear you talking.
All right,
what you got, Lady A? Because I don't remember. That was dripping with shade, by the way.
It was.
Oh,
she's so shady today. She's so shady. First off, she let stuff get in. We'll talk about it later. We're gonna talk about it later. Say it. Did we cover everything?
That would be everything, my brother. That would be everything.
And you got any last minute things?
Nope.
Lady A, you got anything last minute?
No, I'm good to go.
Are those pearls that you're wearing?
No.
What you got around?
They're not. Shells. They're shells.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
To the island, mom.
The island.
That girl.
Really? And doing a body roll. And then Pick gonna do it too. Lord.
Hey, listen.
Go to bed. Go to sleep.
Listen. I didn't do it because Ant was gonna get mad at me, but the U.S. national women's team not looking so hot. We do have soccer to talk about coming up this weekend. They're gonna be in and out real quick. I don't think they're gonna make it to the round. Yep, just like that. Yes, ma'am.
So I did have something. On Sunday, I was able to go to the Premier League game.
Yup.
And that was amazing. It was good to see them coming to the U.S. That was the first time they did their summer series here. I got to see Chelsea beat Fulham. It was a doubleheader. Most of the people only came for Chelsea anyway, but there you go. So it was fun.
All right. Okay.
So if they do it again, I recommend it to everyone who, if you're a soccer or football fan.
Exactly. Yeah.
Soccer. Okay. So, huh?
No, I was reading the message.
Oh.
Oh, one thing we did forget. Let me go ahead and do it now. Before we exit out. For those of y'all still in the chat, so far, first of all, thank you for staying so long with us and let us get this information out. You guys have been great. Okay, next thing is we have a contest that will be starting at the beginning of the football season, so you have time to decide one way or another if you want to be involved. It's called an eliminated challenge.
Pick six.
Okay. The eliminated challenge is a game where you pick one team winner per week. Whatever team you pick, if they win, you're done for the year. You cannot use them again. It's 18 weeks, 32 teams, so you have to manage your squads. At the end of the season, the person who's left wins. We're giving out first, second, and third prizes. As you can see, we'll be bringing this in again. I showed you it's $10 per person. As you can see on the screen, I also told you where you can go to ESPN, how to sign up if you want to sign up. At the bottom of the screen, as you see, last day is 9/7/23 because the next day it kicks off week 1. If you want to join, as you see at the bottom, send your $10 to me. There's my Cash App. That way we'll make sure you're entered. Those who enter fraudulently, guess what? I have the ability to remove you. So
it's a survivor pool, basically. It's a survivor pool.
We'll be showing you this for the next couple weeks for those who want to get in and sign up and participate. Again, it's very easy. It's not hard. It's just learning how to manage teams from week to week and knowing if I use this team in week 1, they're done for the year.
I can't use them no more.
That's why it's called an eliminated challenge.
I can't use them no more. Once I use them once, I can't use them again. So, first
the Dallas Cowboys play Arizona in week 3. You know, Arizona's bad. Chance of Cowboys winning is pretty high. But do I want to use the Cowboys here? If boom. At week 3, the Dallas Cowboys cannot use them more for the rest of the year. Washington plays Arizona week 1. Hey, we can pick an early win on Washington. But Washington's done for the year. Just so you know. There's 32 teams, 18 weeks.
So you saying bet against Arizona the whole season?
I'm saying,
if you don't have to use Arizona, that would be a great thing.
Preferences. Because week 1 to 5, they may suck. After that, they may catch somebody slipping. Just so
Bruce said I can only use the Texans once. Yes,
one time.
You can only use them one time.
That's why it's called eliminated challenge. Eliminated challenge. If you already played it before and you go to, like I said, if you follow the instructions, we'll put up again, ESPN.com, click on the fancy tab, go down to eliminated challenge. Once it opens up, do a search for First String Podcast. We already have people that's in it.
Yep.
Join the group. Make sure you pay $10. That way I won't have to remove you. Now
and get your $10 in there. Get your $10 in there. And
bro, I got to move this weekend.
Lady A, ask me why I got my shades on. Lady A, ask me why I got my shades on.
Why do you have your shades on, Pick?
Because we're getting ready for Virgo season, me and Justin. That's right.
Oh, my goodness. Really?
Me and Justin. Let's go.
Did he just say Virgo season?
Virgo season. We're getting ready for it.
I just want y'all to know in 30 days, he is going to be unbearable.
Totally.
Wait,
totally
30
unbearable.
seconds or 30 days?
In 30 days from now, from today, he is going to be unbearable. And I have someone who lives in my home that will also be unbearable in 30 days.
We want to thank everybody for watching the First String Podcast.
There we go. Come on, say it. Let's do it.
Shout out
to my son, United States Air Force, First String Podcast, second to none. Come get some. Tell him, say it.
Go Dogs. Stop speaking.
Hell.
Ready for your beats? My first song from the person.